Hi, my name is Ward Finley, and I'm sure the title of this video prompted you to take a visit here, and I do thank you for visiting this video, and I hope that what I'm about to say will have an effect on the way you think if you have been caught up into the multitude of doomsday predictions, not the least of which is what is supposed to happen in 2012. But what I want to do today is I want to prove to you that every prediction of the coming of Jesus Christ is false. I'd like to show you that and prove it to you historically that it's been false. And I'd like you to use a rational mindset to be able to approach what is being told you on the Discovery Channel or the History Channel or CNN or TBN, a common evangelical, a very popular evangelical Christian broadcasting network. So anyway, what I want to do before I get into showing you conclusively why I specifically can show you why these predictions are wrong, I want to show you a list of false prophecies. And these prophecies are going to come from people that you might not expect them to come from. First of all, I just want to explain, thousands of people on the earth thought that the world was going to end in the year 1000. And then after 1000 came and went, people started getting about their daily business. But, even Martin Luther predicted it was going to happen. He was the father of the Protestant Reformation. He thought that the end of the world was going to happen within 150 years of his lifetime, and here we are 400 or so years after that. You know what? A lot of popes even believed that the end of the world was going to take place and would predict it, make those predictions, and of course it never did happen. Billy Graham at a rally back in 1950 predicted that the end of the world was going to happen in 2 years. Billy Graham was wrong. And, it's not wrong of me to point out the fact that Billy Graham was wrong. I don't think it's proper for me to sit around and call these people idiots, but to be quite honest with you, it takes a very gullible, blinded person to buy into this. And I confess I was in that position for a long time and until I started to think a little bit more rationally about the issue. But let me read you several things and see if these things kind of perplex you and maybe shed a little bit of light on who some of the false teachers have been. Some of you may have heard of the name Pat Robertson. He ran for president. He lost. And actually, I'm really glad that he lost. In the fall of 1982, he predicted at that time, in the late 70s, actually, Pat Robertson predicted the end of the world would occur in the fall of 82. He says, quote, "I guarantee you by the end of 1982, there is going to be a judgment on the world," he said in a May 1980 broadcast of the 700 Club. Of course, the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons predicted time and again that there was going to be an end of the world, and of course their prophecies failed. Halley's Comet, Leland Jensen of the Baha'i, under the provisions of the covenant, predicted that Halley's Comet would be pulled to Earth's orbit in April 1929 of 1986, and chunks of the comet would pelt the Earth for a year. The gravitational force of the comet would cause great earthquakes, and on April 29th, 87, the comet itself would crash into the Earth, wreaking widespread destruction. He was wrong. Hal Lindsey wrote The Late Great Planet Earth, suggested that the rapture would take place in 1988. His reasoning, that it was 40 years after Israel became a nation. There's problems with that too. Edgar Whisenant lightened the wallets of many a believer with his best-selling book, 88 Reasons Why the Rapture Will Be in 1988. He predicted the rapture between September 11th and September 13th. Of course, his prediction failed. We also see Peter Ruckman predicting that the rapture would come in the year 1990. He was wrong. Elizabeth Clare, leader of the Church Universal and Triumphant, foresaw nuclear devastation that would take place on April 23rd, 1990. Let's see. Let me show you a couple of others here. When the riots broke out, hey, this isn't just evangelicals. The evangelicals are radically wrong, but here's a guy that's not an evangelical. Or some people. When the LA riots broke out in response to the verdict of Rodney King trial, members of the white supremacist group, the Aryan Nations, thought it was the final apocalyptic race war they had been waiting for. Harold Camping, he was the head of Oakland's Family Radio, and he predicted that Christ was coming on September 27th, 1994. And of course, he began to give up date setting after that date was long gone. David Koresh, he predicted this type of stuff. Heaven's Gate, they predicted it. The long and short of it is, all these guys were wrong. Now, the latest one is the hoax of 2012. It is a hoax. It is false. Don't believe the History Channel. Don't believe the Discovery Channel or CNN. It is a hoax. But how can we prove this? Well, Y2K, that was a significant time. 2000, wow. We were entering into the third millennium after Christ's birth. And what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, the economy shot up there for a little while. So basically what we're getting at is this. How do you prove that they're wrong? Well, if you're a traditional evangelical like I was, don't get me wrong, I'm an evangelical, but I am not a traditional evangelical. If you are a traditional evangelical, the best answer you can say to someone who says, guess what? The end of the world is going to happen in 2012. Your best answer is this: well, no man knows the day or the hour. It could happen, but it might not. I don't know. That's your best answer if you are a traditional evangelical. However, if you approach this from a biblical perspective, you can say with assurance, I know you are wrong. Most of these people who believe in these imminent destructions, I say that plural because that's how many predictions there have been. There have been multiple predictions of the destruction of planet Earth. They all make reference to Revelation, the book of Revelation, but they forget chapter 1. Let me show you something. I want to read Revelation chapter 1, okay? In the first 3 verses, we have something that's very enlightening that should stop us from blindly accepting these false prophecies. This was written in the 1st century before 70 AD, which was the destruction of Jerusalem by the Roman armies. This is the Apostle John. Now, I don't care if you're a believer or not. Use this to counter those arguments that try to use Revelation to prove an imminent destruction of planet Earth in our lifetime.